Hello, and welcome back to the Brookhaven Candidate Forum. I'm Amy Wink, editor of Reporter Newspapers, and your moderator for today's events. Thank you again to the Brookhaven Chamber of Commerce for partnering with us on this forum. This is an opportunity for you, the candidates, to introduce yourselves to the voters of Brookhaven and shed light on your platform. Just as a reminder, this is not a debate where you openly challenge your opponent, but again, a forum to let the voters know who you are and what you stand for. I'd like to introduce our panelist, Sammy Purcell, who will join me in asking the candidates questions. Sammy is staff writer for Reporter Newspapers and covers the city of Brookhaven.
Thank you, Amy.
Great. And now we would like you, the District 4 City Council candidates, to introduce yourselves. You will have 1 minute each. Please note you are being timed closely and there is a timer on your screen. We will start with Dale Boone. Please introduce yourself. Oh, yeah, I think you're on mute. You're on mute, Dale.
Hey, I'm Dale Boone. I'm born and raised here in Atlanta, Georgia. I made Brookhaven my home back in 2003. A lot of people may know me because I've worn many hats in my career, from professional eating to film producer to what I do today is security manager. And the security manager allows me to go into the Brookhaven areas and see where the crimes are coming from and see what we need to do to deter crime area and how to do more prevention in the city of Brookhaven. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Boone. And John Funny, will you please introduce yourself? You have 1 minute.
Hi, thank you, Amy. Let me first thank Keith, Amy, and Sammy, the Brookhaven Chamber for putting this on and hosting this event. I'm John J. Funny. I'm seeking the office of City Council for District 4 here in the city of Brookhaven. Just a bit about me. I have a civil engineering degree, and I also have advanced studies in city and urban planning. Since the city started, I actually serve as vice chair of the Planning Commission here in the city of Brookhaven, amazing city to live in. In addition, I've also served as the chair of the founding Social Justice, Race, and Equity Commission, which really heavily emphasized the need for diversity and inclusion. Amongst many other things, I decided to go back to school last year to receive a master's degree in public policy, which focuses on urban development and planning. I am pleased to offer my service yet again to the city of Brookhaven to be a city councilman.
Thank you, Mr. Funny. And now we will start the forum. You will be asked a total of 5 questions that we have prepared, and then 1 question from the audience. Both of you will have 1 minute to answer. Sammy will ask the first question.
Thank you, Amy. What is the biggest issue facing your district, and why are you the best candidate to address it? Mr. Funny, please go first.
Thank you. If you look at the fabric of the communities and the neighborhoods within District 4, we have to deal with redevelopment and development along the Beaufort Highway corridor. And the way we do that is by applying smart growth principles that I've worked on in many cities as the owner of my city and urban and transportation engineering consulting firm. So as we begin to look at that redevelopment, we must determine what's in the best interest for the integrity of the neighborhood and to protect our single family homes. We must consider traffic and transportation implications, and we must address those. We must address the need for affordable and workforce housing that exists within the District 4 community. Those are things that will be high priority for me as I serve in this role.
Thank you very much. And Mr. Boone, what do you believe is the biggest issue facing District 4, and why are you the best candidate to address it?
It is crime. 100% it is crime. If my opponent had realized the murder that we just had in North Cliff Valley, the attack that we had on the Peachtree Greenway, we are overrun with crime here. Everybody knows that. Nobody wants to come to the Beaufort Highway corridor because they are scared and in fear. My proposal is we change not only the image of our part of the Beaufort Highway corridor, but we got to take a bite out of crime here. This crime is just way too much. We need lower taxes, and we got to support 100% our police department, because our police department's taken a big hit with a lot of personnel changes that have been happening, and we're losing police by not just a few. We're losing police by major points, to the point that they're having trouble covering certain days on staff.
Thank you very much. Amy will ask the next question.
What can the city do to create more affordable housing? Is that a priority for you? Mr. Boone, if you could go first.
Yes, but understand that District 4 is more of the working man's district. Just like right now, I'm talking to you from Beaufort Highway. As you can see, I'm 24/7. I'm trying to make Beaufort Highway better. We have a workforce here that's a part of Atlanta. I'm going to take a playbook out of Jeff Collins of Georgia Tech. We need to emphasize we have a major city just below us, and we are a small town. We offer a small town atmosphere into a major city. That automatically is going to attract a lot of people. We have to get we have to get Beaufort Highway up and going. As I'm sitting here looking right now, I'm looking at an abandoned restaurant next to a bank, next to a auto store, next to a washing place, next to Rock South, and then next to an apartment finder.
Oh,
This is not city planning.
sorry.
Okay, so this is not city planning. Okay, all right. Go
Okay,
ahead.
thank you. And Mr. Funny, what can the city do to create more affordable housing, and is that a priority for you?
To answer your question directly, yes, affordable housing is important to me, and I will integrate and develop strategies that have been used throughout the United States when it comes to affordable housing. But it's more than affordable housing, it's workforce housing as well. The AMI, which is the average median income for Brookhaven, is about $75,000 to $80,000. Well, we have a population along Beaufort Highway that's much less than that. We must develop housing and strategies for our workforce housing. Let's talk about crime for a minute on Beaufort Highway and the city as a whole. If you look at crime from 2018, and I'm talking murder, I'm talking aggravated assault, and I'm talking burglary. We had 2 murders in 2018, 3 in 2019, 2 in 2020. If you think about a city nearby us, they may have had 2 last night. So let's be factual with the information so that we do not be hypersensitive to public safety. Yes, public safety is important, but let's have factual data.
Thank you, Mr. Funny. And Sammy has the next question.
Thank you, Amy. So the COVID-19 pandemic has had a negative effect on the economy, both locally and nationally. What steps would you take to help support local businesses in Brookhaven? And Mr. Funny, we'll start with you.
Thank you for that question. Having served on the Emory DeKalb Hospital Authority Board, in which I'm still serving there, this have really hit home, and my sincere condolences to the families and loved ones that have lost those to COVID-19. With that said, I'm vaccinated. I'm encouraging everyone to please get vaccinated. I'm waiting on my 3rd dose. Wear your mask, protect yourself, protect your loved ones and your families. And I would ask everyone, I would encourage everyone, please follow the advice of our CDC that's in our backyard and the medical experts in this area. It's very important that we take control of this global pandemic in such a way that we can continue to thrive as a city, both from a residential perspective and from a business perspective. So I would encourage you to please follow the advice of CDC and our national experts and get vaccinated and wear your mask.
Thank you very much. Mr. Boone, what steps would you take to help support local businesses in Brookhaven?
It's very simple. The businesses need customers. Customers bring revenue in. We have to stop the crime on Beaufort Highway from a murder that happened 2 weeks ago, reported by the Brookhaven Reporter. We have to stop this. As soon as we stop the crime, the people will feel much safer to come out shopping And we need and another thing, when we lose a bank, like we just lost SunTrust right there on North Druid Hills, we need to replace that with a bank. Why? Because we know that there was a merger with the two banks. We've lost that convenience of a bank being there. When we lose a restaurant, we must replace it with a restaurant, because we used to have a beautiful buffet over in Northeast Plaza. That was lost because Ryan's went bankrupt. When Ryan's went bankrupt, they shut down the buffet that they owned in Northeast Plaza. That should have been replaced with another restaurant, but it was not. That's called city planning, because when you lose a business due to the fact that a corporate has gone bankrupt, or because they've lost business, not because of revenue but because of the fact that there's been changes. So we need to start replacing
Mr. Boone, we'll have to
the
stop there, I
restaurant.
think. Thank you very much, though.
Okay.
Thank you. I've got the next question. As more people move to Brookhaven, how can the city achieve balanced growth? And Mr. Boone, you can go first on this question. How can the city achieve balanced growth?
By simply, we have to start planning for the growth that we know that's going to come. When I first moved here, we had Publix, we had Dunkin' Donuts, everything here that supported the growth that was happening at that time. Those businesses now have moved on to the point you have growth that you have kind of two sections here. You have apartments, which we have now, young professionals moving into these apartments, and we have young single home owners also. So the point is we're starting to have now a nice blend of people who kind of eat at the same restaurants, who kind of eat at the same businesses, or have the same needs and desires up and down Beaufort Highway. Again, we fixed Beaufort Highway. That helps with the growth that's getting ready to come.
Thank you, Mr. Boone. And Mr. Funny, as more people move to Brookhaven, how can the city achieve balanced growth?
Thank you, Amy. The city is growing in two ways. People are moving here, and we also have some annexation, like the nice La Vista Park neighborhood that have been annexed into the city. Wonderful neighborhood. It has a nice look and touch and feel. But what's most important, the city have a comprehensive plan in place. That plan really controls the growth and manages the growth as it happens, either from annexation or from population growth moving to the city. That comprehensive plan is a 40,000 feet in the air plan, which is good. When I was on Planning Commission, we recommended, and I supported this and helped craft the language, to do a special character area study. And La Vista Park went through this. As these area grows, we want to hear from the people. We want you to tell us what's in your neighborhood that you like, that you do not like, and what can we do to maintain the quality of life in your neighborhood. So those special area character studies plan have really helped. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you both. And back to Sammy.
Thank you. So last year, Brookhaven created the Social Justice, Race, and Equity Commission in response to social injustice around the country. How would you ensure that the city keeps up its commitment to equity and diversity in the future? Mr. Funny, we'll start with you.
Yes, as the founding chair of the City of Brookhaven Social Justice, Race, and Equity Commission, that was near and dear to my heart. Again, as Councilwoman Madeline Simmons authored the legislation off of the paper I wrote to mayor and council, it was created. And when it was created, it wasn't created to say there's something wrong. It was created to allow us an opportunity as a new city to pause and take a look at how we're doing things, looking at our policies, looking at our mission and vision statement, looking at our hiring and procurement contracting process. So that's really was the gist for creating this commission. When the recommendations come in, either in November and December, I encourage the mayor and council to really look at the recommendation to see what can be developed into policies to keep us as a great place to be, as a great city. So this will be the item that will be on the table when I take office, to be able to implement some strategies to make certain that we are addressing diversity and inclusiveness.
Thank you very much. And Mr. Boone, how would you ensure that Brookhaven keeps up its commitment to equity and diversity?
Oh,
I think
Mr.
you're
Boone.
on mute, Dale. Sorry.
As a person who's been in an interracial marriage for 10 years, my beloved loved wife was from India, Jacqueline. And let me tell you, I know what it is to go through discrimination and everything. I've lost a lot of friends because I dated outside of my race, but you know, I couldn't do anything without my wife. And trust me, I'm a big flag carrier when it comes to immigration. I've been through the process. I've done international business in Dubai, in Bombay, and Goa. And I understand what it means when we come to social justice. That everybody wants a fair chance at life and freedom and liberty. That's what the whole country was based on for, especially when I was in the days of my army. You know, being a veteran myself, I got to stand up for my country that I fought so dearly for, and that is to make sure that everybody, regardless of race, color, religion, has a fair chance in America and the city of Brookhaven.
Thank you very much, Mr. Boone. Amy has the last question.
Thank you. In partnership with the Brookhaven Chamber of Commerce, we asked voters to contribute to the forum. So this next question is submitted from the public. How well do you know the neighborhoods in your district? What steps have you taken to get to know the residents? Mr. Funny, please answer the question.
Thank you. I've been very involved with the neighborhoods in my district. As I mentioned earlier, I served as vice chair of the Planning Commission. What that requires of the Planning Commission is to be intimately involved with the neighborhoods, the Pine Hills neighborhood, the Buford Highway corridor, the North Druid Hills corridor, as well as the La Vista Parks neighborhood. Let me share one example of how familiar I am. I know that within La Vista Park, they're awaiting the repaving of their street. Well, it's taken a little longer because when we started doing the repaving in Brookhaven, we realized that DeKalb County had buried the water line 6 inches deep. That water line should be 20 to 24 inches deep. So we did make contact with DeKalb. They're coming out to lower it to the correct depth, and then we will repave their street. That's how involved I am with the street, with my district, and with the residents of the neighborhood. I'm involved on a daily basis, going door knocking and hearing their concerns and issues, and being able to address them effectively when I become council person for this district.
Thank you. And Mr. Boone, how well do you know the neighborhoods in your district, and what steps have you taken to get to know the residents?
Myself has been here since 2003, unlike my opponent who just moved here in December of 2020. I know the residents. That's why you see me slow in the campaigns, because this is my 3rd time running for office, and the residents already know me. What I did my heart, it did my heart so good when I was out canvassing. People looked at me and said, well, you didn't win against John, you didn't win against Joe. I guess, Boone, it's about time we give you a chance to see what you're made of. That really touched my heart. And to tell me that they had a lot of complaints with city planning that's already happened on Buford Highway, and it's affected the smaller neighborhoods, hey, they're on board, as anybody can see when they just take a little round. For La Vista Park, I understand that they're new to us, and I always want to relieve taxes off of them. But to hear that they pay $1.2 million to have their streets done, when in fact that money comes from DeKalb County to Brookhaven, I'm going to see what I can do to help them get their streets paved and see about getting some of that tax burden off of them.
Mr. Boone, thank you.
Quickly put onto them.
Thank
Okay?
you. I appreciate that. That concludes the District 4 Forum. We thank you so much for being here and sharing your views. You will both get 1 minute for closing remarks. Mr. Boone, we'll start with you. You have 1 minute for closing remarks.
Ladies and gentlemen, with me, you're not going to get a politician. You're going to get a person that's out here working. As you can see, I'm on Buford Highway every single day. Every shop owner knows me out here because I talk to them like a human being. I come out here, I listen to the problems, I listen to what's going on, I listen to the homeless problem that we have. We need to solve the homeless problem that will help cut down on crime. We have some people that need help. We have some people that are just bad hombres. And we need to get out here and really fix this. If you want to go back to DeKalb County, La Vista Park, that you sit there and voted to come into Brookhaven, please go ahead.
Mr. Boone?
Hello?
You still have 10 seconds.
One second.
I think we can give you.
If you want to go back to the ways of the cab. Okay. Yes.
We'll give you 10 more
Hello?
seconds.
Okay. Yes, if you want to go back to the ways of DeKalb County, please vote for Mr. Funny. He's nothing but Mr. DeKalb County. I've been here since Brookhaven, yes. And we started Brookhaven for the fact that we can have our own voices with lower taxes. And lower taxes, I promise you, with Mr. Park, I will get you.
Thank you, Mr. Boone. And Mr. Funny, you have a minute for closing remarks.
Thank you. I appreciate you allowing me this opportunity. There's a reason why people are moving to Brookhaven, and there's a reason why we're growing. It's because we have a great quality here in the city of Brookhaven. If you were moving to an area, you would not go to a crime-infested area. You would go to an area that provides quality and that provides the protection that's needed to grow as a city. So I'm very proud to say that we do have growth coming to the city of Brookhaven, and it's happening in such a large fashion that we have to provide smart growth. Let me just remind you that public safety is important to me, redevelopment with actual workforce and affordable housing, and we want to make certain that we have the principles to support and continue the great leadership that we've had here in the city of Brookhaven. Remember to vote on November 2nd. Vote early. It's important that we voice our vote on the day when they're calling for us to make a statement. Your statement is vote for John Funny for the city of Brookhaven, Council District number 4. Thank you.
Thank you both. That concludes our Brookhaven Candidate Forum. Thank you again to the Brookhaven Chamber of Commerce. These videos will be uploaded onto our website soon, and also be sure to check out our online election guide that features Q&As with all 4 candidates. Thank you so much for joining us, and we hope you have a great week.
Thanks. Have a good one.